Veronica, and welcome to Jersey City Pilates. In today's class, you're just going to need light weights. If you choose to use them, you can do the whole class without. Anything under 5 pounds would be great, and we'll get started. Start, you can bring your weights off to the side, and you're just going to come into all fours with your hands right underneath your shoulders and your knees just ever so slightly behind your hips. And then take a nice big inhale, and then exhale. Feel your abdominals engage, pull them gently away from the floor, draw your ribs towards one another, lifting your pelvic floor, and then sink your hips back towards your heels, and then come over to one side and send your weight forward and just kind of make little circles around your knees, shifting your weight all the way around, keeping your abdominals engaged and breathing as you move through. One more time in this direction, using your whole hand on the floor. And then when you get back toward your hips, reverse, toward your heels. And back around. 4 more in this direction. 3. Neck is nice and long. 2. And last one. And then bring your knees just right underneath your hips. Take a nice big inhale, and then on your exhale, tuck your tailbone under, draw your abdominals up towards the ceiling, round your spine towards the ceiling, and then slowly untuck your spine, one vertebrae at a time, widen your sitting bones and lengthen through your chest. And then again, tuck your tailbone under, round your spine, up towards the ceiling, and then coming through into extension, lengthening your collarbone through your chest, through your arms. And then one more time, back up to the ceiling. And then uncurling your spine again, keeping your elbows nice and soft. And then find a nice neutral pelvis. So you have a little bit of lift through your abdominals, lift through your chest, press your hands into the floor. Neck is nice and long, and then let your shoulder blades slide towards your spine and your chest come towards the floor slightly, and then press away and lift your spine up towards the ceiling. And then let it slide down towards the floor, and then press away. And then your shoulder blades slide in, and then press up. More like this. Feeling all the muscles around your shoulder blade and armpit start to engage. 2 more. Neck is still nice and long. And last one. Keep reaching the crown of your head away from your tailbone, and then bring your knees a tiny bit closer than hip distance. And then you're gonna let your feet come nice and wide. So you're internally rotating from the upper leg, and then externally rotate slightly, bring your toes together. And then bring your feet apart, and then bring your feet together. And think that the initiation from this comes from your upper leg as you internally and externally rotate, and just notice how your sitting bones move a little. They get wider as you internally rotate your legs, and narrower as you internally rotate. 2 more. 1 more time. And then bring your knees back to normal hip distance here. And then actually bring them as wide as your mat. And then you're gonna sit back into your heels, and then press your arms into the floor and round your back. Take a nice stretch here, and then reach over to one side. Press your hands into the floor, send your hips over in the opposite direction. Getting a stretch through your right side. And then up and over to the left. Same thing, press your hands into the floor. Reach back with your left sitting bone. And then come back onto all fours. If you need to, you can always fold your mat in half to give your knees a little extra padding. When you're ready, float your right leg back behind you. And then you're gonna tuck your toes under so that your heel is reaching away, and then just send weight back into your heel so you're stretching through the calf. And then let yourself come all the way forward, your weight right over your wrist, and then float the right leg up. And then tap it straight down towards the floor, and then float it back up. And tap down, and lift. Keeping your abdominals engaged, drawing away from the floor. For 3, neck is nice and long. 2. Last one, leave your leg lifted, and then extend your left arm out. So you're in opposition here, and then tap your left leg, left arm, right leg, and float it up. And the rest of your torso stays nice and still. Think about drawing your right rib toward your left hip, and then your left ribs toward your right hips to kind of make a little sling, supporting your torso. For 3, 2. Last one. Drop the hand down, leave the right leg extended, curl the toes back under, and then you're just gonna open up to the right side and come into a little modified side plank. And then you're gonna come back into that kind of tripod position. And then again, open back up into a side plank. And then rotate yourself back down. One more time like this. Foot stays on the ground to start. And then square yourself back up. And then float your right leg up into the air. And now you're gonna do the same thing. Keep reaching through those right toes. Float yourself open into your modified side planky position. And then square yourself off. Square your hips off, touch your hand down, but keep your leg lifted. And then again, rotate up and around. Using your left leg, the whole leg to help you balance. And then square yourself back off. One more time like this. And then staying here in your modified side plank position, tap your right foot down and then float it up for 8, 7, 6, pressing through your whole left hand. You're keeping your torso supported and lifted off the ground. Your neck is nice and long. For 4, 3, 2. Last one, keep the leg lifted, rotate yourself back down to the floor, and then tuck the toes under on the right leg, and then get that little calf stretch one more time. And then bring your right knee underneath you, and extend your left leg back behind you. If you need, take a break, stretch your, shake your wrists out, go for it. If not, you're gonna float your left leg up, and then tap it down, and breathing here as you go. Again, neck is nice and long. Hips are square, not arching through the low back. So keeping your ribs and hips connected in the front as you lift. For 4, 3, 2. Last one, pause with your left leg extended. Extend your right arm now, and then tap your arm and leg down, and then float it back up for 8. And again, don't worry about the height. Think more about reaching in opposition for length away from one another. For 4, 3, 2. Last one. Plant the right hand down, tuck the toes under on that left side, and then press back so you get that little calf stretch. And then shoot your weight forward so you're nice and square. Keep that left foot on the ground as you twist and rotate up and open into your modified side plank. And then square yourself back off. Make sure your hips are coming all the way to square and then all the way back open. And back down. Once more with the leg on the ground. And square yourself off. Now you're gonna float your left leg up. Keep reaching back through that left leg and rotate yourself open. Hips open towards the side. And square yourself back down. Hand touches, foot stays lifted. 2 more like this. And float it up. And back down. Last one. And then from here, tap your top leg down and then float it up for 8. Keep pressing away from the floor, your ribs stay lifted. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 more. Last one, keep your legs lifted, rotate yourself back down to the ground, tuck the left toes under, and press back to get your calf stretch. Good, and then bring your knees wide one more time, sit back onto your heels, and take a second to take a child's pose. And here, think about shrugging your shoulders up to your ears and then externally rotating the upper arm, finding a little bit of space across your back and giving your ears a little room to breathe from your shoulders. And then come back up onto your knees, tuck your thumbs inside of your hands, and then place the backs of your hands on the floor, almost all the way to your wrists. Try to keep little fists. You'll feel like a gremlin. Stretching out the back of your hands, and you can kind of rock back and forth or from side to side if that feels okay. Good. And then from here, one more time, plant your hands on the ground, tuck the toes under, take a nice big inhale, feel your ribs expand laterally wide to the side. Exhale, feel your abdominals draw away from the floor, but your spine stays neutral. One more inhale, holding that connection through the abdominals, float your knees off the floor into a hover. And then release on your inhale. And then inhale on the knees on the ground, exhale, float yourself up, and lower back down. 3 more like this. Exhale, lift. Pressing through your whole hand, using your whole back, all the muscles in your shoulders, lower your knees down. 2 more. And lower down, last one. This time you're gonna lift up and stay. And extend your right leg back behind you, and then bring it in. And then extend your left leg back, and bring it in. Trying to keep your knees similarly close to the floor, alternating which leg extends and which leg bends. 2 more to each side. To the left. If you had a book on your back, it wouldn't slide off. Think about lengthening the front of your chest forward, so like you're showing a necklace to the person in front of you. Last one to the left, back in, and then lower your knees all the way down, and then come onto your back. And keep your weights, if you're using them, kind of close by. All right, so laying on your back, just let your arms come by your side. If you'd like to, you can flip your palms up towards the ceiling if that makes your shoulder blades lay a little bit more flat on the floor. And you want to start in a nice neutral pelvis so you have a little bit of space underneath your low back. And then take a nice big inhale. And then on your exhale, feel your hips drop toward your ribs, gently press your low back into the floor in a little pelvic tilt. And then release. And then inhale. Exhale, tilt. Hold your tilt for a second, and then release. We're gonna do 8 more. You can just go at your own pace. Really think about your abdominals descending towards the floor and getting soft. They shouldn't be rock hard. 3 more. Your ribs will start to draw towards one another as well. Feeling the engagement through your pelvic floor, and release. 2. And last one. And then now you're gonna stay in a neutral pelvis so you have that little bit of space underneath your low back. Take a nice inhale. And then exhale, feel your abdominals engage, grab onto your weights. Bring your hands straight up towards the ceiling. Reach your knuckles forward towards the ceiling so your wrists are nice and strong. And then on your exhale, lift yourself up, head, neck, and shoulders lift off the floor, and slowly feel yourself all the way back down. Again, inhale, exhale. Feel your abdominals draw towards one another across the front of your body. Abs stay nice and soft. And descend towards the floor as you lift. I'm just going to move my arms for the last 4. Keep lifting your head, neck, and shoulders off the floor. 3, 2. Chin stays lifted off your chest. Last one. Good, pause, lifted here. Lift just your arms, and then press down. Keeping your head, neck, and shoulders lifted, float your arms up, and press down. Collarbone is nice and wide. For 4, 3, 2, and last one. And then peel your head, neck, and shoulders down. Let your shoulders come right over your hands over your shoulders and lower your head down. Bring your right leg up into tabletop. And then you're going to extend your right leg and left arm in opposition. And then exhale, bring it in. And then left arm, right leg. If you'd like to give yourself a little stability challenge, bring your left leg up into tabletop as well. And down. 4 more. Again, think about reaching in opposition, creating length through the front and back of your body. Shoulders stay away from your ears. 2. Last one. Leave the arm and leg long. You're going to extend long, both long overhead and towards the floor, and then bring them up, keeping them nice and straight. And then keeping them extended, going nice and long, and back up. If, especially with the weight in your hand, you feel your back ribs starting to lift off the floor, drop the weight or limit your range of motion back overhead. 3 more. 2. Last one. Good. Keeping your arms lifted, keep your left or right leg long. Circle across your body, out, down, around, and up for 8. 7. Hips stay nice and still. You can always bend the knee and do this with a bent leg as well. For 3, 2. Left leg stays nice and still. Last one. And then reverse for 8. 7. Keep pressing down through the floor out with that left foot. 3 more. 2. Last one. And then bend that knee and lower it down onto the floor. Your left leg is going to come up into tabletop. You can bring your right leg to meet it if you'd like. And then you're going to extend right arm, right leg, and bring it back in. Opposite arm leg, not right arm. And extend. And you may notice on one side your weight wants to shift more than the other. Just adjust your range of motion or whether or not you use the weight accordingly. 3 more. 2. Last one. And then extend the arm, extend the leg, right arm, left leg, keeping it extended, back up to the ceiling. Again, reducing your range of motion if your ribs lift or if your pelvis wants to tilt in and out of neutral. For 4, 3, 2 more. Last one. Pause at the top. Arms stay still. Circle across the body, up, down, around. For 7, 6, 5. Shoulders are nice and relaxed on the floor. 3, 2. Last one, and then reverse the circle for 8. 7, using the inner thigh on that right side, keeping it nice and still. 4, 2, and last one. Bring both legs up into tabletop, and then you're going to extend your right arm, right leg, and bring it in. Left arm, left leg, and if you're feeling like you want to add on, you can lift your head, neck, and shoulders off the floor. or you can leave them on the ground. 3 more to each side. 2. Last one. Good, and then lower your left leg down, lower your right leg down, and then drop your weights, but keep them again nearby. Interlace your fingers and then press your palms up towards the ceiling. Feel your shoulder blades lift off and your spine press into the floor. And then let your shoulders drop, keeping that width across your arms. And then place your palms facing each other and then peel your hands back. And then reach the fingertips towards the floor and try to hook your fingertips onto the ground, either in a T or more down by your hips, wherever you need to. And then just gently try to reach one heel of your hand towards one wall and then reach your heel of the hand towards the opposite wall. Stretching through the front of your chest and your hands. You can also do this on a foam roller if you have one. It feels nice. Also terrible. Good. And then bring your arms by your side. And then press your feet into the floor. You're going to do a pelvic tilt. So on your exhale, feel your low back gently press into the floor, and then you're going to start to peel yourself up into your bridge, one vertebrae at a time. Find whatever height is comfortable for you. Feel your heels drawing towards your shoulders, and then peel yourself all the way back down. Really think about articulating through your spine, and then you're going to go back up, lengthening out the low back, keeping the collarbone nice and wide, and your shoulder blades on the mat. Back down. 2 more just at your own pace. And on this next one, you're going to come up and you're going to pause. And then you're going to drop your right hip, lift your left, and then square your hips off. And then drop the other hip, lift the other hip, and square. Keep thinking about reaching long with your knees. If you'd like, you can bring your hands up towards the ceiling. Give yourself a little additional challenge. You can always grab onto your weights as well, if you'd like. And to the right. One more time to the left. Square your hips off. Keep drawing your heels towards your shoulders. Now that you're nice and square, think that you have a rod between, or like through your hips, and you're just going to shift over to the right, and then square yourself off. And then shift over to the left, and square yourself off. So your hips still stay nice and even up towards the ceiling. Same height, you're just shifting right and left. Reaching away from you with those knees, towards you with your heels. And then one more time to each side. Last one to the left. Square your hips off. And then tuck the tailbone under, lower the hips an inch, and then lift them up an inch. And then tuck and lift. You can release slightly into a neutral, and then tuck if that feels okay on your low back for 8. 7, engaging through the glutes. Think about squeezing an imaginary ball in between your knees for 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and then peel yourself all the way back down, one vertebrae at a time. Bring your right leg into tabletop. You're gonna leave it in tabletop. Press straight down into your left foot, like you're gonna press it through the floor, and lift the hips straight up. And then tap the hips down, and tap them down, and reaching your knee forward like it's a fulcrum, I think would be the correct word. Finding length on both sides of your hip so that that right hip isn't pegging toward your hip. 2, and last one. Pause at the top, extend your right leg long, and then bend it back to tabletop. And extend it long, and bend it back in. For 6. 5, check in on your abdominals if they're not just like rock hard, pressing up to the ceiling. 2 more. And last one. Bend the knee, plant it down, tuck the tailbone under, and gently roll all the way back down, one vertebrae at a time. Give your knees a little windshield wipe for a second, and then replant them on the floor. Left leg comes into tabletop. Press straight down through that right leg, lift the hip, tap the hips down, and lift. Breathing as you go. For 5, 4, 3, shoulder blades are pressing into the floor, they're staying on the ground, your collarbone is nice and wide. 2, last one, pause at the top, extend the leg for 8, bend it in. Think like you have a rubber band from your sitting bone to your heel and you don't want to snap yourself in the back of the leg as you bend it in, so you're moving, creating a little bit of resistance. Hips are square. 3, 2, last one. Plant the left leg down, tuck the tailbone under, lift yourself up to whatever height feels comfortable, and then reach the arms back overhead, and then slowly peel yourself all the way down, one vertebrae at a time, really stretching out. And then bring your arms wherever is comfortable and your feet as wide as your mat. And then you can have your hands in like a cactus position or just totally by your side or onto a T, whatever works for you. With both hips on the floor, you're gonna do a windshield wiper over to the right. So both knees fall to the right and then up and over gently to the left. But your hips wanna stay evenly planted. So you're just working that internal and external rotation. Two more to each side. And last one. And bring your knees up to the top. You can extend your legs long, reach your arms back overhead, and then let your back ribs lift off the floor. Get a nice stretch through the front of your body. And then as your arms lift up towards the ceiling, feel your back ribs press into the floor as your arms come into your periphery. Press down, lift the head, neck, and shoulders. Draw the ribs towards your hips, and you're gonna round yourself all the way up. Grab onto your thighs if you need. And then you're gonna round forward over your legs. And then stack your spine up nice and tall. Grab onto your weights if you have and would like to use them. You can have your legs out long or bent or in a cross-legged position, your choice. You're gonna start with your arms nice and long, and you're just gonna tuck your tailbone under and you're gonna round back, and then stack your spine up nice and tall. Keeping your arms long and extended behind you. If you feel like you're gonna fall and you're cross-legged, just extend your legs. 3 more. Really drawing your ribs towards your hips. 2. Last one, pause here. And then reach forward over your legs. Keep your arms nice and long, ears in between your biceps. Stack your spine up nice and tall. And now you're gonna roll back and pull your arms with you. And then extend as you stack your spine up nice and tall. And then curl back, elbows nice and wide. And then reach your arms forward as you stack your spine up nice and tall. Take a little row here. 3 more. Ideally, your legs aren't lifting up as you roll back like mine are. Last one. Stay back, extend your arms, bend your right arm, look over your right elbow, and extend. And over your left elbow as you pull back. Alternating right side and then the left. Give yourself a little twist. And forward. 4 more. Tucking that tailbone under, like you're gonna put your sacrum on the floor. 2 more. And resist as you extend your arms. Last one. And to the left. And then stack your spine all the way back up, drop your arms, and then just round forward over your legs. Give yourself a little stretch. However that feels good. And shake your neck out if you're holding any tension in your head. And then you're gonna come onto your knees. Again, you can grab your weights, and so you have two options. You can either be kneeling with your butt resting on your heels, or you can be up in a tall kneeling position, your choice. If kneeling is uncomfortable, fold your mat over, or you can do this sitting on like the side of a couch would be fine, or standing. So you're gonna start with your palms in the same line as your elbows, and then you're just gonna externally rotate with the arms and then bring them back in. And as you externally rotate, make sure that you're not pressing your chest forward through your arms. You're staying nice and upright. If you're up on your knees, tuck the tailbone under. 4 more. 3, 2. Neck is nice and long. Last one. Pause here. Extend your arms wide, almost in line with your shoulders, and then bend them back in. And then lift and extend and back in. They should still stay in your periphery and not go back behind your shoulders. 4 more. Really resist as you come back in. You may only be holding 1, 2, no counts, but try to make your arms feel heavy. 2. Last one. And then bend your arms in. Internally rotate, externally rotate, and extend for 8. And as you internally and externally rotate, think like your elbows are inside of a little bowl, so they're staying in that same position. And you're really just moving through the upper arm and your shoulder. 2 more. Last one. And back in. And then from here, you are going to, I'm gonna sit back, but you can lift your arms up in front of you and then tuck your tailbone under if you move so that your low back is in a nice long line and you're not arching your back. Open your arms out wide to the side and then round and hug in. This would be just like doing hug a tree on the reformer. And as you draw your arms in, feel your ribs engage towards one another. Again, torso stays nice and still, just your arms are moving. For 4, 3, 2. Last one. Pause with your arms in front and then lift them straight up and then open out to the side and overhead. Elbows stay soft and open. For 6. Check in with your low back, make sure you're not arching. 4, 3, shoulders stay relaxed, so don't worry about touching your fingertips. 2, last one. Leave them lifted, lower them down, and then lift. Open, lift, down. And again, now watching your rib cage here, make sure you're not flaring your ribs as you arch your upper or lower back. 2 more, and then your arms are gonna need a break. Right. Last one. And then lower your arms all the way down. Bring your weights off to the side. And then just sit over onto your right hip. And then bring your forearm or hand onto the floor, your choice. And you're gonna have your heels in line with your butt. And you're just gonna externally rotate with your left leg, opening your clamshell up towards the ceiling. Hips stay square to the front and back down. And then think about resisting down and then also pressing away from the floor so you're not sinking into your shoulder. For 4, 3, 2. Last one. Let your knees touch and then lift your heel and then reach back behind you with your heel and then reach your knee to touch your knee. And then press back with the heel and then touch knee to knee. And if this is more comfortable for you to do, to be all the way down on the floor, on your side, by all means, go for it. Don't worry so much about the height of the reach back. more about the opening through the front of your hip and not arching through your low back. Your ribs and hips stay connected. In the front. 3 more. 2. Last one, leave your leg long, tap it down, touch the back edge of your mat, and lift, and tap it down, and lift. Again, pressing away from the floor. Ribs are drawing towards your hips, even if you're laying down. For 4, 3, 2. Last one, keep the leg long, flex the foot, sweep it forward, point the foot, sweep it back. And then flex and sweep it forward, hinging at the hip, and then point and bring it back. Torso stays nice and still, so you may have to reduce your range of motion. That's totally fine. 3, 2. Last one. Bring your leg right in line with your bottom leg so that you're bent, it's floating in the air. You're gonna lift it up an inch, down an inch, and up, and down. For 8, 7, press away from the floor. For 3, make sure you're breathing. 2, I can't count, I think we have 3 more. 2, last one, lower that leg all the way down. And then go ahead and come over onto your other side. Have your shoulder underneath or over your elbow, heels in line with your butt, or again, lay all the way down onto your side. Either way, just make sure you're not fully collapsed. You're nice and supported. Externally rotate to start for your clamshell, hips stay facing forward. 6 more. And you can always bring a hand to your low back to check in and see what that's doing. 3, 2, last one. Bring your knees together, lift your foot, and then reach your foot back. And then bring it in, tap the knee to the knee, and then press back. And reach. Again, focusing on the extension through the front of the hip, keeping the torso nice and still. And you can always do this lying down. 6 more. 5. 3, 2. Last one, leave your leg long and then tap it down towards the very outside of your mat and then lift it up for 8, 7, 6, 4 more, 3, 2, last one, bend the knee in and then tap the whole leg up, tap it up, lift it up. Try not to let it come all the way down to your bottom leg for 6, 5, 4 more, 2, last one, lower your leg all the way down and then roll over onto your back and cross your right ankle over your left leg and then draw your knee into your chest. Grab on behind the thigh of your left leg and you can rock back and forth gently from one side to the other. And then breathe into your right hip. Think about gently externally rotating your right femur and reaching your knee away from you. Tailbone presses into the mat. Try to stay as relaxed through your torso as you can. Plant both feet on the ground. Give yourself 1 or 2 little windshield wipes to each side. And then you're gonna bring your right foot to the ground, left ankle over your right leg, and then pull that right leg into your chest. Take a nice big inhale, and then exhale. Drop your tailbone down, externally rotate that left leg, and give yourself a little rock, whatever feels good. And then extend your legs long on the floor. Reach your arms overhead. Connect your back ribs to the floor. Press your hands towards the ceiling. Down toward your hips. Curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Reach your ribs towards your hips. Peel yourself up one vertebrae at a time. Hold on back your thighs if you need. You're gonna roll all down. And then come onto your knees. One more time. You have a couple of options. We're going to do one set of push-ups and then stand and finish with a couple of things standing. So you can either have your knees back behind your hips in a modified plank. You can be in a full plank, reaching your heels back, or you can just be in a full quadruped position and bend your elbows back toward your knees. Whichever you choose, you can pick your own position. If you're in either of the planks, or either way, make sure that you're reaching your chest over your fingers like you're on the edge of a cliff. And then you're gonna bend your elbows back, and then exhale, press up. Inhale, lower down, exhale, press. Your abdominals come with you. Keep reaching the crown of your head nice and long. For 4, 3, 2, tailbone tucked under, reach your hips up so you're in a nice long line. Last one. And then lift your hips up, find a down dog or a child's pose if that feels better. And then just take a breath or two here. And then walk your hands back toward your feet. And then shake your head out. And then roll yourself all the way up. And you're gonna grab your weights one more time. And we're just gonna finish with a little arm and balance. All right, so you're gonna have your weights in your hands and you're gonna bring your right leg up into a tabletop position. And then you're gonna rotate around your left leg, reach your right leg back behind you. The leg doesn't have to be straight. Your arms are gonna come right underneath your chest. Holding here, you're gonna lift your elbows up into a little row and reach them back down. And then row and reach back down. For 6. Abdominals are drawing away from the floor. 5, 4. If this is too much, just tap your toes down to the floor. 3, 2. Last one, arms come long. Reach yourself back up to this standing position. And then you're gonna bring your arms in line with your shoulders and reach up overhead with your right arm. And down, left arm. Down, both arms. 4 more right arm lifts, left arm lifts, both arms. 2 more. Breathing here, reaching the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Right, left, last time both. Good. And then lower your arms all the way down, lower your right leg, shake your legs out. And then we're gonna do that on the other side. So float your left leg up into tabletop, and then reach your right leg back, left leg back behind you. Find your little airplane RDL position here. Hips are square. Reach up with your elbows, reach back down. Torso stays nice and still. Again, you can tap your left toes down to the floor if you need. For 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. And then come back up, pause with that leg in tabletop. Bring your arms to your shoulders, right arm lifts, left arm lifts, both arms. 3 more, right? Left tailbone is tucked ever so slightly. Ribs are drawing in towards one another, shoulders are relaxed as you reach up overhead. 1 more. Both. Lower your arms, lower your legs. Shake your legs out. Drop your weights off to the side. And then you're gonna bring your feet, or legs rather, nice and wide. And you're just gonna sit down over toward your right leg, getting a stretch in your left inner thigh. And then sit nice and low, slide over to the left. One more time, slide over to the right. And over to the left. And then this time, reach your right arm up, left arm to your left leg, sitting into that right side. And then over to the other side, adding that little twist. And last time to the right. And to the left. And then reach yourself all the way down in a nice forward fold over your legs here. Bend your knees a whole bunch, shake your head out. You can shake your arms out if you need. And then with your legs nice and wide, if this feels good, if not, bring them closer together. Bend your knees, tuck your tailbone under, round yourself up. One vertebrae at a time. Reach your arms up overhead. Grab your thumbs and side bend over to the right. Shoulders are relaxed. And then up to the ceiling. And over to the left. And then all the way up. And let your arms float down, lift the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. And you are all finished. Thanks. Bye, thank you, see you next week.
Thank you.